My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite free features of the Kadence Blocks free plugin. Let's dive in. When it comes to Kadence Blocks, I am a big advocate and fan if you already don't know this. I have been using Kadence Blocks for years now, and it's only been getting better and better. I will say Kadence Blocks is one of my favorite block plugins for WordPress. I use other block-based plugins, and I would definitely say that Kadence has time and time again got me through the things that I needed to get through, gave me the tools that I needed to use, and they're always improving and optimizing for their audience, for their users and their customers. So that's why I'm a big fan of Kadence, and specifically Kadence Blocks. Right now, I'm on the Kadence Blocks page, and we're just gonna keep this simple, okay? We're not gonna do too much fancy stuff in this video, but we are gonna make it very valuable. So if you're not new to Kadence, maybe this is just a refresher. But if you are new to Kadence, this is definitely something that you wanna take note of when you are building your websites and your web pages, because what I believe that Kadence does is makes it easier for bloggers, content creators, small business owners, and big companies too. But I'm talking about the little people, right? The people that are just starting their business or that have a business, they've been in business for a few years and they only have a couple employees, or they're a solopreneur. What I like about Kadence and the Kadence team is they help make WordPress so much easier for non-developers and non-coders. When it comes to the features of the free Kadence Blocks, I am a fan of the fact that they have what they call intelligent load. Now, I'm no WordPress developer, but I do understand the word intelligent and the word load. And this is not something that I can necessarily show you from the actual WordPress editor, which I'm gonna show you some examples here in a second, but just understand that because of this feature here, and see how they have it as the first one, typically if something's the first one, it's usually the most important. This is what gives you an advantage in speed and performance because they already have the coding and the technology of the blocks ready to go. So that's what I believe this intelligent load really helps out with, especially when it comes to things like CSS or JavaScript, which if you're not familiar with, it's just a coding language. Just different coding languages and coding aspects of your website. Kadence loads it really, really fast. And the fact that it loads for specific pages. I love that too. It doesn't always load on every single page. The next feature that I am a fan of is responsive controls. When it comes to responsive controls, let me show you real quick in the WordPress editor. But first, I just wanted to share with you, every time I am doing a demo or I am doing any testing with WordPress, I typically am always using a staging environment. One of my favorite staging tools is InstaWP. So when I'm showing you WordPress, it is being hosted on InstaWP. Now that we're here in the back end of WordPress in the WordPress editor, AKA Gutenberg, so if you've been using something like a Beaver Builder or Elementor or a Divi, this is not gonna look so familiar to you because you're not using this area of WordPress to build out your websites. So just keep that in mind. But this is the WordPress editor, this is Gutenberg, and this is the way that by default, you would build out a website with WordPress if you weren't using any other page builders. You want to click this button here in the left-hand corner. They call it the toggle block inserter. Interesting. But when it comes to this sidebar, you're going to see all of the blocks that you have. Right now, I have Kadence Blocks free plugin installed on this particular WordPress installation. When it comes to responsive controls, you're going to see that in the settings for the most part. This right here, if I'm not mistaken, this is WordPress's native area here when you're looking at the website from a responsive perspective. For instance, if I click tablet, it'll shrink down into the size of a tablet, like you're looking at an iPad or some other tablet. Then mobile, you see how it shrunk down to mobile. Now you're looking at your website from a mobile perspective. Here's the thing, this is a quick tip. I don't always trust this. This is not how you typically want to think about your website responsiveness when you are working out the kinks. You want to test it in actual real world scenarios. And you want to think about using a tool that gives you more responsive controls over specific areas. So when it comes to Kadence, let me just add a block real quick. I'm going to add a row layout. Just going to click any row layout because it's not really important. I'm going to go back to the desktop version, and then I'm going to open up another block. We're just going to say, for instance, text. So for responsive controls, if I were to add another, let's say, image. So I'm going to add image here. Now we have a image inside of a section inside of a row. So if I look here on the right side and I look at the area that says row gutter, for instance, I'm here on the row layout. I clicked on the row layout. If you're not used to the WordPress editor, if you click on any of these elements here, these blocks, it's going to go right to it and open up the settings as well. So that's something for you to be aware of. Now, let me click back on the row layout and then look here. Both of these areas, you notice that there's a desktop, tablet, and mobile icon. What this means is that Kadence is giving you the ability to say, hey, I want to be able to edit my site and lay out my site and adjust my site for this specific format. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to building out their website, how important it is for you to look at these different areas. But more importantly, sometimes you need to adjust a section only for a specific device format. You don't need to adjust everything. And I do believe that some solutions, when it comes to building out your pages, they don't give you those options. They don't give you that amount of flexibility. So that's something that I love about Kadence Blocks is the responsive controls. If I go to the text here area, you notice that there is still responsive controls. And when I change here, it changes here, or I can change it here. So now I am specifically only editing this text for the mobile version. So it's not going to look the same on the desktop. That is a wonderful, beautiful thing. Now, here's another thing that I want to let you know. Even if you don't do this, Kadence's blocks are so optimized for flexibility that your website still is going to typically look good, even though you have not optimized it for that specific mobile or tablet format. However, when you want to get hyper specific, and there's nuances that definitely need to be taken care of based on the device, based on the format, this is where you want to use. You want to use these buttons right here. Okay. So that's something that's really, really, really key. See, you can see them. They're also here as well too, the spacing. And this is letting you know it's giving you individual controls for this target device. Once again, it's a beautiful thing. I clicked on this block right here, which is the image block, because I wanted you to see how by default, WordPress doesn't do that for you. It doesn't give you these different options. No, it doesn't take away the fact that you can go here at the top and you can click on tablet or you can click on the mobile and you can do it that way, but it's not going to give you the granular control, right? You're not going to get the individual controls per setting to be able to optimize or to be able to adjust for devices based on the setting. So just to share with you one more time what that will look like from Kadence, I'm going to use the advanced image block. Now, this time, I'm going to click here. I don't really have an image, so we're going to go to pixels. And I'm going to click any image here. This comes with Kadence, which is really, really cool. Kadence Blocks gives you this feature as well. I love it. I didn't have to go to another photo editor to do anything. This is a bonus feature right now, but I didn't have to do anything else. I was able to access a stock library through Kadence Blocks. So now on the right side, you can see with this image block here, we have controls specifically for the max width, specifically for this image. You don't get that same control over the standard image block. You see how that changes? So that's just something that you definitely should be aware of when it comes to responsive controls. Now let's talk about layout controls. This is another one of my favorite features of the free Kadence Blocks plugin for layout controls. So before we get to layout controls, this is one of the things I love about WordPress in general. It's just easily being able to delete. Ooh, ain't that nice? Ain't that sweet? Just delete it and it's gone. I clicked the delete button. I didn't have to right click or anything like that. I just clicked the delete button and it's gone. That's a WordPress feature right there, but that was a little bonus for you. So when it comes to layout controls, one of the best blocks to show you an example that comes from Kadence Blocks, it's called the row layout block. Layout controls. You can literally click any one of these. I'm just going to click a random one. And now I have my 3 columns. You see the layout here? I can easily change it to a different structure, different rows. So now I have 2 rows here and then 2 columns on the first row, 1 column on the second row. Now I have 4 boxes, which means that I have 2 rows and 2 columns. So you can easily adjust your layout the way that you want to just by using this row layout. Now, another great feature of Kadence is the sections that come within the row layout. In the beginning, when I first started using Kadence, they didn't have this so flushed out, but over the years, they really made this 2 very powerful blocks. So anytime you create a row layout, it automatically creates a section. But notice how the settings changes over here from the different layout, and I can choose my columns here. And if I click the section, I have more capabilities of adjusting the layout just within the section itself. Direction, alignment, the vertical alignment, all this stuff is within the flex settings. So sometimes you just got to flex yourself in order to be able to adjust your layouts, adjust your page even more. So that's why this is one of my favorite features of Kadence Blocks, is because this is the container of which everything is contained within. All your elements, all your content, everything is contained within your row layouts and your sections. And Kadence does a very great job by creating it easy for people who don't know how to develop, like myself, to be able to adjust the settings the way that I want to. Now, the 4th favorite feature that I love when it comes to Kadence Blocks is the typography controls. When it comes to the typography controls, I'm going to show you what the advanced text block from Kadence. Over in the settings area here under block, you're going to see a submenu for advanced typography settings. So you would click this drop down arrow and you're going to be able to see you can choose so many different font families. I mean, there are so many Google fonts, and these fonts come with Kadence. Isn't that amazing? Not every block plugin or every text plugin or every text or typography solution is going to give you access to all of these fonts. I mean, it's a lot of fonts. We're not going to go through all the fonts. Then when it comes to font weight, you can choose your different font weights right here. Letter spacing as well. So that's one of the best things I like about using Kadence Blocks, is that they give you so many different font choices that you don't have to go outside of their options typically in order to add the right fonts to your website. You should be able to find most fonts to use right within their list here. Then when it comes to icons, I love icons, especially since we are called iconic. But when it comes to icons, I like the fact that Kadence gives you so many different options right out the box by default within their blocks. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to open up the block inserter and let's just go to the icon block here. When it comes to Kadence's icons, I'm going to click on this icon setting. And now you can see that Kadence gives you the option to either use line icons or solid icons. And you can even search here too in the search bar. So here are the line icons. They have a lot. And then you can see that they have solid icons as well too. You have so many icons right within Kadence Blocks where you don't have to go to an icon library and then upload that icon to WordPress. You have so many icons to choose right here. And the best part is that you also have some customization options to change the color of the icon too, to make it more customized to your brand. So that's really sweet that Kadence gives you that out the box, because not all block plugins do that. Another feature that I love from Kadence Blocks is going to be their color and background controls. So we talking about gradients, overlays, blends, the parallax feature. Those are features that I love when it comes to customization, just as I mentioned when it came to the icons, that Kadence gives you on so many different levels within their blocks. So let me show you real quick what that looks like. For example, let's get rid of our icon, delete, and we're going to open up the row and we're going to click, just going to click a row. And then we're going to click inside the row and I'm going to add a text. So although I have a section and a text here, I'm able to customize the row to my liking. So right now I have the row layout block settings open and I'm on the style tab. On the style tab, you'll notice that you have some different options. You have classic, gradient, slider, and video. And then you also have a background image. You can insert something from URL and you can use a dynamic background image as well. And then if you want, you can also use a background color. You can choose a background color from your color palette or another background color. These are all different ways you're able to customize your page using the row layout and background settings. And trust me when I say that this makes a huge difference. So that way you don't have to do a lot of coding when it comes to building out these robust looks and visual effects and appeals. So that's something that I really do like about Kadence is that you have the option to really customize a lot when it comes to blends and parallax and sliders and videos in the background, images in the background, singing in the background. And singing in the background. You know, everybody in the background. But you can customize things so much from the background. Now, my next favorite feature from Kadence Blocks free plugin is going to be the settings visibility controls. This is what I think is one of the most slept on features. But when it comes to customization and setting things more specific for your user experience, setting visibility controls, even if you need to sometimes hide something, you know, based on somebody being a member or not being a member, having access or not having access, the visibility controls is what's going to help you out a lot. And what that looks like in Kadence is going to be, if you go to the advanced tab here, and I'm in the row layout, you'll see it says visibility controls. These controls right here give you the ability to hide on desktop, hide on tablet, hide on mobile. And then for users, you can decide whether or not you want to hide from logged in users or logged out users. A great use case for this would be something that I mentioned before. Say you have a membership website and you want your non-members to see a sign-up form, but then you want your members to see a login page. Two different scenarios, two different experiences. You can use the visibility settings in order to help you with this particular scenario. Another great use case when it comes to using the visibility controls is when you are optimizing for mobile, specifically phones. I can't tell you how many times where we have used the workaround of just duplicating a section and then hiding that section on one device control and showing it on another and doing vice versa. So that way we don't have to over optimize for a particular section. We just duplicate something and then we hide it on other areas and make sure we show it on the specific area that we are optimizing it for. And then we do vice versa. That is something that I really love about the visibility controls, is that it gives you the ability to get really specific on what sections, what blocks, what areas you're actually looking to hide or show. Now, here's another tip. Here's a quick thing. Don't think that you get that setting for everything. That's something that Kadence is still working on. The tip here would be to add the text block or add the blocks that don't give you visibility controls, add them into the row and the sections that do give you visibility control. So if I click on section, for example, click on advanced, notice how we have visibility control. So you get visibility controls over sections and rows. And then when it comes to other elements and other blocks, you want to add them to the sections and the row so you can have more control over those blocks, those elements, or that content. Last but not least, we have spacing controls when it comes to padding and margins. So what does that mean when I talk about spacing controls for padding and margins? Well, if we look over here and we are back on the section block, you can see padding and margin. What I love about the most recent changes in Kadence Blocks, more specifically with Kadence Blocks 3.0 and up to current dates, is that they give you so many controls here. So that way you can decide whether or not you want to set a custom size or you want to have automatic size. But then you also get to link as well too. See how that's moving? Something that's awesome. And then you can click each one individually and unset or auto set. or reset, but just don't be upset when it comes to these controls. So again, you can lock things, use a custom right here. See how I click that? Now it's custom. And if I unclick it, it's going to be auto. This helps out so much, especially coming from a non-developer perspective. My developers love this. And I love this because it gives us the opportunity to gain more control over the spacing of our pages and certain sections. Because of this padding and margin, we can get very specific to update something, to make a change. That's another reason why I love the padding and margin control features, because before I started using WordPress and understanding more about the complexities that comes with WordPress, I didn't understand how important having control over your padding and margins really is when you're not using other website platforms that typically will automatically do some of this stuff for you, except you don't have the flexibility to get out of it. Essentially not without some type of custom code. You typically use custom code to get out of the box that you're put in when you're using other platforms, and you don't have access to your padding and your margins the way you would do with Kadence Blocks. Here's one more feature as a bonus feature from Kadence that is newer than the other features that I shared with you before, and it is Kadence AI. When you set up Kadence Blocks, the free plugin, you'll be prompted to use their AI feature. You don't have to use their AI feature. It's completely up to you. I would advise, if you're not using another AI tool like ChatGPT or Gemini or any content writing tool, I would advise that you sign up for this free feature and get your free credits, because it's going to get you a lot further the way than you striving to create the content or edit the content on your own. So this is what Kadence AI looks like. When you're using the advanced text block, you will see a new icon here that has 2 stars. When you hover over it, it's going to say Kadence AI. You're going to click this button. And when you click this button, you can ask it to write content, prompt it to write content like you would any other AI tool. I'm going to make another video that goes over how to use AI tools, but I just wanted to share this quick bonus with you because it is newer, but it was something they were working on for a very long time, and they put a lot of effort. Ben and the team, as well as others, put in a lot of effort into this feature. So I want to give them a shout out and give them some kudos for getting it done, because everybody has a new AI integration into their tool, but everybody isn't doing it smooth or everybody isn't doing it right. So I have to give Kadence a shout out for doing this in a very efficient way. Again, all you have to do is ask it something, direct it something, and then you can also see the credits. And you have so many credits in the free credit system, so many. So Kadence AI, if you don't already have a dedicated AI tool, you might want to look into this because it already comes free with Kadence Blocks. So those are my favorite free features of the Kadence Blocks free plugin. I know we didn't go over the configurable defaults. That was something that I know a lot of people will take advantage of. I haven't typically taken advantage of that. My team, we haven't typically taken advantage of that feature yet. But when we do, it's going to be all good in the neighborhood. So if you have any favorite free features from the Kadence Blocks free plugin, I encourage you to drop them in the comments so that way we can share ideas. But I wanted to share what I liked about Kadence Blocks, and you let me know what you like about Kadence Blocks. I'll make another video that will go over my favorite features for the Kadence Blocks Pro plugin, and you can check that video out here. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and I'm out. Peace.